Hi and Assalamualaikum. Today we are going to present about idealism theory. Okay, so based on definition of idealism suggests that law, abstraction and idea are more fundamental than a physical objective we perceive with our sense. In other words, it purports that spirit or consciousness is the true extent of reality. According to idealism, everything that exists is known to us through concepts that primarily exist in our mind. This means that our mental dimension, our thought and our consciousness are the foundation of all we understand and experience. In summary, idealism invites us to see the world not just as a collection of physical objects but as a real, deeply rooted in the idea and consciousness. It encourages us to explore how our thought and perception shape the reality we live in. So, thank you for your attention and I hope this introduction to idealism has given you a new perspective on understanding reality.
Now, I will share with you guys the assumption of idealism. So, the first assumption is in internal relation, human nature is basically good and capable of good action. Idealists firmly believe that individuals and state can behave in morally upright ways. Idealists also advocate for promoting moral value and ethical behavior, suggesting that this action can lead to the creation of a more peaceful and just international system. They hold that human beings have the capacity to reason and make moral choice, which can give positively impact into global interaction. These idealistic viewpoints stand in contrast to realist theories, which often focus on power politics, self-interest, and the competitive nature of the state. A clear example of the idealist perspective in action is seen in the establishment and functioning of the United Nations (UN). Founded in 1945, the UN primary goals include promoting international cooperation and preventing conflict through diplomacy and dialogue. So, the principle and objective outlined in the UN Charter, such as the peaceful settlement of dispute, respect for human rights, and so on. The second assumption of idealism is everyone cares about the well-being of people and the progress of civilization. Idealists in international relations (IR) believe that the welfare of individuals and the progress of civilization should be the primary goals of all nations. They prioritize the well-being of people over limited national agendas and see every country as having an obligation towards the benefit of all people. Idealists also advocate for humanitarian intervention in cases where states fail to protect their own population from grave human rights abuse. Next, the responsibility to protect R2P principle is an example of idealism in IR. R2P is a normative framework that was endorsed by all UN member states in 2005. It holds that the states have a responsibility to protect their population from genocide, war crime, and so on. If a state is unable or unwilling to fulfill this responsibility, the international community has a responsibility to take collective action to protect the people. Now we move to the third point of idealism, which is it is possible to eradicate undesirable human behavior by modifying the surrounding. The idea of eradicate undesirable human behavior by modifying the surrounding is rooted in the principle of behaviorism, a psychological perspective that emphasizes the role of the environment in shaping behavior. The international system is a complex environment that is shaped by a variety of factors, including the distribution of power, the presence of international institutions, and the norms and values that govern international behavior. By modifying this factor, it is possible to create an environment that encourages desirable behavior and discourages undesirable ones. Another example can be found in the use of peacekeeping force to maintain order in conflict zones. Peacekeeping forces are designed to create a stable environment in which peaceful behavior can be reinforced and violent behaviors can be punished. By providing a stable environment, peacekeeping force can help to create the conditions necessary for peaceful behavior to be learned and reinforced.
So, move to the next slide, which is founding father of idealism. Idealism is a philosophical idea that emphasizes the importance of our thought, idea, and awareness. It suggests that our mind is essential for the existence of the outside world. This means that reality is more about our mental or spiritual experience rather than just a physical world around us. Okay, so the founding father of idealism is Plato, an ancient Greek philosopher. He believed that the ideas are true reality and that our perception shape how we see the world. According to idealism, our experience are subjective. This means that what we experience is influenced by our thought and mind construct. Each person's reality is unique because it's shaped by their own mind. In simple terms, idealism tells us that our mind plays a crucial role in defining what is real. It's not just a material thing we see, but how we perceive and think about them that we create our reality.
One of the main philosophies in international relations is idealism. This theory's central insight is that each state's unique national characteristics have an impact on its international relations. Idealism emphasizes international law, morality, and international organizations rather than power alone as key influence on international events. This is according to Goldstein and Peephouse 2014. Idealists assert that human nature is not inherently evil and states can cooperate by sacrificing their interests for a common goal. Idealists place an intense focus on the role that identity and reciprocity play in developing interdependence between nations, establishing international organizations, and bringing forth peace and cooperation. The next one is idealists hold that power is not the only factor that determines how these encounters turn out, and that morality plays a significant role in international relations. Three important solutions have been proposed by Immanuel Kant, who is regarded as the leading proponent of idealism theory, which is, it says, every state should have a republican civil constitution. The law of world citizenship should be restricted to conditions of universal hospitality, and the law of nations should be founded on a federation of free states. Moving to the next theory, they are convinced the global public opinion will become more powerful and unstoppable as education and democracy spread, including increasing democratic control over foreign policy. This is according to Wilson 2012. One prominent example of idealism in practice is the United States' current foreign policies under the Obama administration. In his speech at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point class of 2014, President Obama made statements that are directly in line with the theory of idealism, which is, it says, democracies are our closest friends and are far less likely to go to war. Free and open economies perform better, and respect for human rights is an antidote to instability and the grievances that fuel violence. Under his administration, President Obama has tried to shape America's policy in a way that its military capabilities are not always into a play in international relations, which is choosing not to send in troops in the war in Syria. That is, we can choose the realist way in and use our power military to fulfill our national interests, but instead we choose international cooperation and reasoning.
Now, let's get into the advantages of idealism theory. So the first one is it basically values the education. According to Cthulhu 2019, thinkers such as Plato and Aristotle established idealist theories by advocating for laws that uphold morality and social order, and by arguing that environmental factors and education can shape human conduct toward the harmony and peace. By prioritizing education and intellectual growth, idealism fosters a culture of continuous learning and personal development. For example, Maria Montessori. She is an Italian doctor and educator that embraced idealistic ideas in her teaching style. According to Powell 2022, Maria believed that every child has inherently good and had the potential to learn socially, emotionally, and also intellectually. So basically, Maria emphasized the importance of fostering this aspect of child's development. So this basically shows that idealism theory gives a very good impact to the society. The second advantage of idealism is its peace. So according to Cthulhu 2019, idealism provides hope for harmony and also advancement, especially in post-war periods like World War I and II. It envisions a better world through disarmament, democracy, and also international cooperation, despite criticism for being utopian. For example, the Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan is a US-led initiative to provide economic aid to Western Europe after World War II that illustrates the idealistic pursuit of peace and cooperation. According to the Tarnoff 2018, by promoting economic reconstruction and political stability, the Marshall Plan fostered a spirit of mutual understanding among European nations, paving the way for the establishment of European Union. This shows that idealism basically promotes peace across the world. Next, it also encouraged cooperation and ethical principles. Idealism emphasized the role that moral concepts like justice, human rights, and ethics have in forming international relations and also promoting a more morally aware perspective on world affairs, according to Cthulhu 2019. So, for example, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights reflects the idealist commitment to ethical principles by establishing a framework for the protection and promotion of individual rights. These laws actually contribute to a more just and equitable global order. However, there are a few disadvantages of this idealism theory. The first one is inflexibility. According to Never, idealistic beliefs have the potential to lead the rigid adherence to predetermined ideals or inflexible thinking, which can hinder one's capacity for innovation and adaptation in a dynamic environment. So, idealists usually rely more on previous theories and principles rather than concrete data and evidence, which disconnect the connection between the theory and practice. So, for example, the Soviet Union, which led by Stalin, was basically stuck rigidly to communist ideas like Marxist-Leninism. So, this made them resistant to change and unable to adapt, causing economic problems and also social unrest. Next, it is also inconsistent. Disagreement and also inconsistency arise from internal conflict between various forms of idealism. Idealists deem unjustifiable exploitation of philosophers' dependence on their own thoughts and ideas. As an evidence, according to Robinson 2024, ordinary language philosophy examines idealism by looking closely at its specialized language and revealing instances of unclear or multiple meanings. So this evaluation basically implies that ideas within idealism might be unclear and imprecise, causing philosophical difficulties. Lastly, the third disadvantage of idealism theory is it minimizes geopolitical considerations. According to Goldsmith and also Krasner in 2003, as cited in INAPE 2022, idealism frequently places a higher priority on moral principles rather than geopolitical factors like power dynamics and also national interest. They may prioritize international cooperation over the national interest, leading to conflict and tension between states. For example, after the World War I, the League of Nations aimed to keep the peace. However, it often prioritized moral goals over practical concerns like not punishing aggressive countries to avoid the conflict. So basically, this actually has weakened its ability to prevent World War II. Therefore, this point is considered as disadvantages of idealism theory.
Proceeding to the impact of idealism in IR, the first one would be the promotion of sustainable development. Preventing a repeat of the horrific event of World War I was one of the world's top worries at the beginning of the 20th century, and it sparked interest in the emerging field of international relations. Therefore, idealism started to become a core principle that shrunk to the new science. Idealism tends to help the most countries involved, especially when it comes to eradicating war plus maintaining and attaining peace among themselves, said by Blanco in 2022. Sustainable development goals cannot be achieved when peace and harmony do not exist in the mentioned and also related countries. As most people know, peace is connected well with the SDGs after the emergence of IR by the United Nations. Idealism has profoundly influenced by the promotion of ST, which is sustainable development, by emphasizing the interconnectedness of economic growth, social inclusion, and also environmental protection. This holistic approach is encapsulated in the UN Sustainable Development Goals adopted in 2015 as part of the 2030 Agenda for ST.
As an example, Goal 16 of SDG aims to foster peaceful and also inclusive societies, ensure universal access to justice, and also establish effective accountability for human rights and also good governance rooted in the rule of law, essential for realizing children's rights and achieving sustainable development. Government play a crucial role in providing all of this, as it also measures all the other protective essential social services set by the UNICEF data in 2023. Therefore, it is clear that without peace and harmony between countries, sustainable development goals cannot and also impossible to be achieved. The second impact will be strengthening of global governance. Idealism has significantly contributed to the strengthening of global governance by advocating for international cooperation and also the establishment of global institutions to address transnational issues. A key example is the World Health Organization, which stands for WHO, which embodies idealistic principles through its mission to ensure health for all. Founded in 1948, the WHO has played a pivotal role in coordinating global health efforts, particularly evident during the COVID-19 pandemic. The organization facilitated the sharing of information, resources, and also best practices among nations, underscoring the importance of solidarity. COVAX was the vaccine initiative under the Access to COVID-19 Tools, which is staged for ACT Accelerator. The ACT Accelerator is a pioneering global partnership aimed at speeding up the development, production, and also fair distribution of COVID-19 tests, treatments, and also vaccines set by the World Health Organization in 2024. Through initiatives like COVAX aimed at equitable vaccine distribution, the WHO has demonstrated the idealistic commitment to global health equity. These efforts reflect how idealism promotes collective action, fostering a more interconnected, cooperative world where international institutions play a crucial role in managing and resolving global challenges. Moreover, each country has become more cautious following the outbreak and spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. A few years ago, which claimed numerous lives were taken from across the globe, affecting everyone from infants, children, teenagers, and also to the adults. Consequently, there has been a concerted effort among the leaders from every and each countries worldwide to take proactive measures to maintain current conditions and prevent a recurrence of the dark episode of COVID-19. For example, the effectiveness of vaccines is emphasized in every response to each administered dose. This is because an effective vaccine ensures the absence of the contagious disease and helps maintain the health of both the local community and visitors to the involved countries, stated by Kozai in 2021.
Last but not least, the further impact will be the expand of the humanitarian assistance. The UN's humanitarian assistance efforts are fundamental to its mission of alleviating human suffering in crisis caused by natural disasters, conflicts, and other emergencies, embodying its idealistic principles of compassion, equity, and also global solidarity taken from WFP program in 2024. Through the UN World Food Programme, which is WFP, the organization provides critical food assistance in emergencies aiming to combat hunger and also malnutrition as part of its commitment to human dignity. For instance, in conflict-ridden regions like Yemen and Syria, the WFP has been pivotal in delivering food to millions of people facing severe food insecurity, ensuring that vulnerable populations receive the nutrition they need to survive and also recover. Additionally, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, which is UNHCR, is vital in protecting and assisting refugees and also displaced people worldwide. Reflecting idealistic values, the UNHCR advocates for their rights and provides essential services like shelter, healthcare, and also education. In crises such as the Rohingya refugee situation in Bangladesh, the UNHCR has set up camps, provided life-saving aid, and also worked towards long-term solutions for displaced population. These efforts address immediate needs and also support the dignity and resilience of affected individuals, showcasing the UN's dedication to humanitarian principles and its vision of a world where no one is left behind and everyone's rights are upheld based on UNHCR in 2024. Many large companies from developed countries collaborate with the WFP.
For example, Family Mart from Japan has successfully partnered with the World Food Programme, which is Family Mart served as a distinguished sponsor of the WFP Walk the World, a charitable event dedicated to the eradication of child hunger on a global scale. Moreover, their employees contribute by volunteering in this initiative. The event is instrumental in raising awareness about the issue of hunger, and a portion of the proceeds is allocated to support the school feeding program administered by JAWFP, which stands for Japan Association for the World Food Programme in 2022.
So, in conclusion, idealism teaches us that our thought and idea play a crucial role in shaping reality. It challenges that belief that an objective would exist independently of our mind. Instead, idealism suggests that our understanding of the world is deeply influenced by our mental perception. There are different types of idealism like subjective, objective, and absolute, each offering unique view on how the mind and reality interact. But they all agree on one thing: our idea and consciousness are essential in forming the reality we experience. So, idealism encourages us to think about how our belief and perception influence our world. It reminds us that the mind is powerful in constructing the reality we live in. So, that's all from us. Thank you for listening, and I hope this gives you a new perspective on the importance of idealism in shaping our world.